Well, let's just put it this way. Paige's phone was stolen. She was hacked. And a bunch of videos ended up on the internet. Photos ended up on the internet. Quite the disaster. Dave?
Quite the disaster.
What's the word in wrestling about all of this?
I haven't heard any word in wrestling. I mean, I just know it's out there. And I think it's bad because if you're WWE, it's like there's two ways of looking at it. I mean, the number one, if you remember with Seth Rollins when something sort of similar to this happened, I mean, it wasn't exactly the same thing, but they did nothing, and their feeling was that, he didn't do anything wrong, and, jealous ex-girlfriend or whatever. I mean, this is worse. This is someone who wasn't even, this is someone who stole her phone, I guess. But at the same time, it's more graphic, but if you do something based on this, I mean, it's like what you do on your own time is your own time, but there is like a morals clause, obviously, in any entertainer's contract, and it is a publicly traded company that has sponsors like Mattel and people like that. So it's a really bad situation because if they do something with her, they pretty much would have to do something to Xavier Woods, and they also, you really couldn't bring back Hulk Hogan at that point. So it's like a can of worms you don't really want to open. It's like, I really sympathize with her. I mean, whatever she wants to do, I don't really care. As long as it doesn't affect your work. It's really, it's obviously really embarrassing. You shouldn't lose your job over it. And I don't know what the pressure situation is on the company from the outside forces, but it's a bad deal for the company, and you are supposed to keep yourself out of trouble. It's like she probably shouldn't have had them in that situation there, to say the least. But who expects their phone to be stolen and pictures to go up on the internet? And it's kind of screwed, how that all happened. But it did happen, so it's like it's an embarrassment for WWE. That isn't their fault. It's an embarrassment to her, it's a bad situation all across the board. But as far as like what they do, I don't know what they do. I think that if you don't have, man, it's so hard. It's just so hard. I don't know what move they make, because if it was just her, you could just say, look, she's been trouble. She's failed drug tests. She's shows up at opposing promotion shows all the time. She's not that valuable in a sense that you can afford to lose her. But then you got the movie situation too. So it's kind of like you don't want to cut her with that movie that's already in production. They're filming stuff, so that's screwed. So it's, and then what about them doing that movie? Does this affect the movie? There's all these questions. So I don't think, I haven't heard word one.
Well, let me stop you right there. As far as like the movie goes, this is Rock's production company. Rock's running the show here. Obviously they're working with WWE to a degree. They film stuff at Raw, but it's kind of,
they're working close with WWE on this one.
Is WWE an executive producer?
I would think they are, but I don't know that 100%. But I would think so.
I had the impression today from talking to people that they had no idea what was going on with the movie because they weren't really all that involved in the movie.
WWE is not going to let them film using their intellectual property like Paige and AJ Lee and those names like that, film on their premises without having a lot to do with it. WWE wouldn't do it if they didn't have a form of control of it. That's just how WWE is. But as far as how much, could WWE say stop the movie? I don't know. But and then for Dwayne Johnson, it's like, what do you do if you're Dwayne Johnson? Do you stop the movie? I don't know. It's everyone's in a. This is a huge deal. It's a bad situation for everyone, and I don't know how they're gonna handle it. They may, the whole problem is like with her, then, and everyone's going like, what about Xavier Woods? I mean, and you really can't do something different to one and not the other, because they were both in the same thing. So if you do something to one, you got to do it to the other. And if you are going to do it, then all of a sudden that holds up the Hogan return, because it's like, wait a minute, you're bringing Hulk Hogan back, and it's a similar situation. It was a stolen videotape that he didn't know he was being taped. I mean, I guess they knew they were being taped, but it's it was for their own use or something like that. So, man, it's like it's a lesson about stuff. But I mean, who expects that? I mean, really, I mean, I guess you could say they should be. I mean, she should have, but it's out there. It's too late now, to say what you should have done. I don't know, man. But yeah, as far as like, what's the answer? What are they going to do? I haven't heard a word. They haven't said a word. I'm going to guess that they don't even know because it's such a complicated issue.
I guess the other question is whether there's any punishment doled out or not. I mean, is a New Day going to be on Raw Monday? Is a New Day going to host WrestleMania? Is a New Day going to disappear for a little while?
It's everything. Well, I mean, as far as Kofi Kingston and Big E, I mean, I don't see any reason that anything should affect them whatsoever. Now, as far as Xavier, I hope nothing happens to him, but if something has to happen to him, it may have to. That I don't know. But I mean, as far as New Day, New Day as an act, I mean, now, could they keep all of them off TV on Monday with the idea that it's too soon? Yes, of course they could do that. Where we haven't made up our minds, so let's just keep everybody off television for a week or two. Yes, that could happen. There's a million ways that it could happen. But I mean, as far as the New Day act, I mean, you can do a two-man New Day team, and that's the worst case scenario. I mean, you can do it, but you can, so I don't know what they do, but everyone's there's, that's what happens with a big organization, and weird things happen. I mean, sometimes it's just, it's just part of business. Sometimes things happen that it's nobody's fault, and they just happen, and it's unfair. A lot in life is unfair. And this is one of those situations. Especially, the whole thing. I mean, it's a phenomenon of something that couldn't have happened before. It's something that exactly. I mean, the closest thing to happening before. I mean, the Seth thing a little bit. You had, and of course the Hulk Hogan thing, which is actually very similar. But with Hogan, I mean, yeah, it's the sex tape, but there was also the racial stuff. I mean, with this, there's just the sex tape, I guess, right? There's nothing else as far as I know, right? There's nothing else embarrassing aside from that, right?
What else besides embarrassing? There's some very embarrassing photographs.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about, we're not going to go into great detail, everybody, but you can go on the internet and Google it, and you'll see everything that you need to see or don't need to see. It's all over the place. It was all over Twitter. But yeah, I guess we'll see what.
It's all over everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, it's one of those things that in this modern era, that's the kind of stuff that takes on a life of its own. I mean, there's a million things that you could say are bigger and more important, but that's the stuff that takes on a life of its own. So it's really big. I mean, you can't deny it's really big, and because of that, WWE can't pretend it didn't happen. But if it was just her, you could just like, okay, we're going to put you on ice for 6 months, or we're going to, we'll fire you, but we're going to bring you back when this all blows over. Or it's just like, what, we've been looking for an excuse to fire you anyway, so this is a great excuse, like that. But, Xavier's involved, and that's a real problem. I mean, I guess it's all a real problem, but that's another aspect of the problem.